Yeah, good morning and welcome again. So, as we know that upskilling is important. So for that, we initiated this session. Every Sunday, we'll try to cover as much as possible the important parts. Whatever your suggestion is there, you can place in the group. And whenever I have some time and wherever I will upload this somewhere, then I will update you so that whenever you get time, you want to revisit, you can revisit here. What happened when we discuss the guidance now? When we read guidance alone, then something get skipped. So when we discuss it, when we discuss in a presentation format, then the things which are ignored by us that also covered there, and that are very important actually. So when it is missed, then somewhere we just forget that, or we did remember that, and we didn't recognize that that is important. But in presentation form, in a common discussion form, each and everybody have different opinions, so we can discuss that. So for that only this initiative is started. Every Sunday we will try to cover as much as possible. So if your suggestion is there, any topic you want, you can place in the group. We'll together we'll work it out, and together we'll make some matter and some creative matter so that it will be helpful for others also. So let's start the second topic, that is tablet scoring, which we hear many times. So, what the guidance is, what the FD recommendation is, we will discuss here in this presentation right now. So, in the tablet scoring, the guidance, we will discuss the nomenclature also covered, labeling is also covered, and data for evaluation, which is required by the agency, that is also covered right now. So, as of now, because I have also read the guidance, many times I focus on what data is required, what needed to be done. That only we focus, but we I also never focus on what is the labeling requirement, what is the nomenclature requirement, what happens when we do accurate and we submit our dossier for the score tablet. Then also we receive some queries which can be easily addressed but if we read this guidance properly, right? So let's start. So first is what guidance recommended. What is the why guidance came? Okay, what is the introduction of the guidance? Why this guidance came in the picture? So what guidelines give us, what it tells us, guideline to follow, what we have to follow, data to provide, what data is required in case of the scoring of the tablet, and criteria to meet. It guides us what to follow. You can unmute yourself if required. Whenever your question is, then you can mute yourself if required. Whenever your question is, you can unmute yourself. So the guidance recommends guideline to follow, what guidance to be followed, data to provide, what data agency required, and what criteria to be met in detail when an application to support approval of a sport tablet. If your RLD is sport tablet, then what data you need to provide, what criteria you should meet, and what guideline you to follow. That is recommended in this guidance. Apart from that, most important part, nomenclature and labeling for the approved score tablet is also recommended in this guidance, which is skipped by most of us when we read the guidance. Okay, so these two important parts covered by this guidance. So coming first, what is the scoring? So scoring features facilitates the practice of tablet splitting. Score can be used to facilitate the splitting of the tablet into fraction when less than a full tablet is desired for a dose. So we have seen where we are a formulator, we see the tablet, sometimes tablet have scoring. Some people, somewhere, some nomenclature also cut break line also. So when there is a break line, why this that break line meant for? Most of cases when break line is functional, then it meant for that patient can split the tablet from the break line and it can take the dose, divided dose. So the break line is if we directly split the tablet because of hardness of the tablet, we cannot split it proper. When we provide a good break line, a functional break line, then person can able to split that tablet in equal halves and get a desired dose without purchasing a new strength. From the same strength, he can take a desired dose. Okay. So this is the scoring feature. Okay. Now, what agency recognize? Agency recognize the need for agency recognize the need for consistent scoring between a generic product and its R&D. Agency recognize the need for consistent scoring between a generic product and its R&D. Consistent scoring ensure that the patient is able to adjust the dose by splitting the tablet in the same manner as the R&D. This enables the patient to switch between the products made by different manufacturers without encountering problems related to the dose. Consistent scoring ensures that neither the generic product nor the RLD has an advantage in the marketplace because one is scored and one is not. FDA clearly defines regarding the scoring requirements. What they feel is that consistent scoring is required. Why consistent scoring is required? Because what we are doing as a generic manufacturer, we are providing a cost-effective, alternative cost-effective option to the patient so that they can take generic product and they can in affordable prices. And while providing that, we are ensuring them there will be no compromise in the therapeutic benefit. We are giving the same therapeutic benefit as given by the reference product, and we are asking for less price. That is our job. That is the generic industry for. So while doing the same, if this RLD have the scoring and generic product comes without scoring, then somewhere patient get compromised. Patient somewhere the patient didn't get what he is paying for right now. So our scoring, generic product scoring should be in line with the RLD so that it can ensure that after splitting the tablet, as patient do in the RLD, he can split the generic also, and he can get the same therapeutic benefit that here he's getting from the RLD product, and he can switch between the RLD and generic without thinking of the break line. As he do for the RLD, he can able to do for the generic also. For that reason, to meet that requirement, agency provide this guidance. Okay. Apart from that, if RLD is have a break line, generic didn't have a break line, or vice versa, then that one company, this one product, have additional benefit in the marketplace. They can claim that we are coming with the break line, so generic is not coming, so we cannot interchange like that. Some commercial benefit anybody can take. So if already have a score line, generic product should must have a score line right now. So it is recommended in this guidance. So the agency concerns with splitting a tablet included. So what are agency concerns? Variation in tablet content. So what they think that if some criteria will be not laid down for the scoring tablet, then whether when person will split the tablet, then variation in the tablet content may occur. Weight of the tablet, if it is not proper splitted, may different. The splitted tablet, its disintegration pattern may differ, disintegration time may differ, and in situ, the dissolution, which is dependent on the disintegration, that also may differ. So if dissolution will differ, absorption will differ, and therapeutic benefit will be compromised. Apart from that, variation in release can affect how much drug is present in a split tablet and available for the absorption. If the tablet is not proper splitted, then ultimately absorption will also suffer. In addition, there may be a stability issue with the splitting tablet because in what happened in the US now, they dispense tablets and give in the pharmacy dispensing container. So if the stability of the splitted portion will be not studied properly, then stability issue also may happen. So because of these concerns, first agency may feel that if scoring is not proper, then variation in the tablet content may occur, weight may differ, disintegration may differ, dissolution may differ, variation may release may cause changes in the absorption pattern. The split dosage form will not be stable. Because to summarize, to address all these concerns, to address all these reasons, this guidance came in the picture. As well as now, the European Pharmacopoeia as well as USP also published a chapter where they given or they laid out the standards for the score tablets, right? So that also need to be captured in one single place, is addressing above concern as well as the pharmacological requirement to capture all these in one single place. This guidance came in the picture. Okay. So what agency provides recommendation for? First, application content regarding the scientific basis for functional scoring on solid oral dosage form products to ensure the quality of the both NDA and NDA score tablet product. Okay. So what is the scientific basis why functional scoring is required right now? And this functional scoring should ensure the quality of NDA also. NDA also further this guidance scheme by developing consistent and meaningful criteria by which score tablet can be evaluated and labeled by. So this means in the discussion part guidance recommends that what recommendation are there? that in consistent manner and meaningful criteria. That also recommended first providing a harmonized approach to chemistry manufacturing controls reviews of score tablet. What should be reviewed means this guidance also tell generic manufacturer as well as reviewer that what should be reviewed, what is the requirement that laid down by this guidance, ensuring consistency in nomenclature, that is score versus bisect and labeling. And see, nowadays also if you see somebody is using bisect word, somebody is using scored word, like that only so many words are there. So to bring the consistency in the nomenclature, this guidance scheme, it have a separate nomenclature part, but that to be studied properly and that should be implemented properly because nowadays they start giving a query also. Then providing information through product labeling or other means to the healthcare provider. Means what the agency want that by seeing the label itself, by seeing the word functional code itself, the healthcare provider, the pharmacist, the doctor, they should know that this tablet can be splitted and can be given in the equal halves if dosing required, if dosing regimen required. So from labeling itself, it should be clear. That also addressed in this guidance. So what is the criteria? Let's come on the guidance. One by one, we will study. If any doubt, you can ask anytime. Four tablets characteristic will be evaluated as a part of the review process by following criteria. So when you submit the data for the score tablet, what criteria should be evaluated? First criteria, the doses amount meant to be achieved by splitting the tablet should not be below the minimum therapeutic dose indicated on the approved labeling. Minimum therapeutic dose means that dose which may produce that much of plasma concentration which can show some therapeutic benefit, which can show therapeutic benefit, not some, which can show therapeutic benefit. So every molecule, every drug has some minimum therapeutic dose. Okay. So if you are providing splitting, it is basically for NDA. So if we are providing splitting, then what we, if my dosage strength is 25 mg and I'm providing splitting, so my split unit contains drug of 12.5 mg, then that 12.5 mg should be above or meet the minimum therapeutic dose criteria. If it is not meeting the minimum therapeutic dose criteria, then there is no meaning of the scoring. So scoring need not to be provided in that case. I'm just giving an example that splitting will be provided only when the splitted portion should be able to meet the minimum therapeutic dose criteria. Okay, one point. Second point, the split tablet should be safe to handle and not pose risk of unintended drug exposure. See, the tablet form is intact tablet form. If we are splitting it, then one portion becomes means it is exposed portion. So, if any manner drug is controlled by the upper coating or something, some based on the doses from design, if because of splitting, any handling issue is there. For example, if you are working on oncology and you are giving splitting, split, then it is not feasible, right? So, if any means split tablet may give a risk to the handling or it may give a unintended drug exposure risk, then splitting should not be present. Very clear from that. Then to modify this product for which the control of drug list can be compromised by the tablet splitting should not have a scoring feature. Many modified list product where the matrix decide the drug release. So by splitting, if that matrix is weakening and unintended drug exposure is increased, then the scoring feature should not be present there. So these things should be kept in mind while giving the scoring. Okay. Apart from that, the split tablet when stored in pharmacy dispensing container, this is an orange container and don't have any seal. You can easily search on the Google to see the image. The split tablet, when stored in the pharmacy dispensing container, no seal, no desiccant, should demonstrate adequate stability for a period of 90 days at 2560 condition. Okay. What it means, you have to, while generating data, you have to conduct study of the split tablet portion at condition 2560 for 90 days, giving the suitable time points, right? But the study should be conducted in the pharmacy dispensing container. Okay. So these are the points. Next slide. The split tablet portion should meet the same finished product testing requirement as for whole tablet product with equivalent distance. What it means, whenever we are splitting the tablet, for example, 50 mg, we are splitting into the 25 mg. So, what when we are splitting, so 50 mg is split into two portions. So each portion will represent 25 mg. So 25 mg, that split tablet portion should be analyzed as per the finished product specification of the 25 mg because patient is about to take it as a finished product of 25 mg strength. So you should make the specification to release your EB batches, to release your commercial batches after approval, that your split tablet portion will meet the data is required only in the EB batches. So you made the specification for your EB to release your EB batches split tablet portion also. So that will be analyzed in respective of that particular strength. Means irrespective of their equal halves. Okay. Then a risk assessment should be provided to justify the test and criteria for the product with the proposed functional scoring. So what test you are conducting in the split tablet portion, you can make a risk assessment. For example, if you are splitting, then description cannot be met, right? So you can easily skip that description part for the split tablet portion. So simple thing is that when you are providing scoring, then your split tablet portion should be analyzed as per specification of that split tablet portion, the content. For example, 50 mg is the whole tablet you are splitting into 25 mg. The split tablet portion should be analyzed as per 25 mg specification. And you can make a risk assessment for some testing which are not required to be done based on the case by case study. Okay. Then the risk assessment data should be generated on both tablets that are split non-mechanically and tablet that are split mechanically. Means you should during your this filing data during your scalar batches, you should generate on both part. Means what is a mechanical splitter? Everybody knows to splitting tablet. Some splitter comes with the dosage form. So you generate data mechanically also and non-mechanically also. Non-mechanical is the worst case, and mechanical is not that much worst case. If your splitter is proper, if it is proper angled. Okay. So agency recommends to generate data on in both cases. Also, whenever we are doing any specific any resolution to meet the specification, that should be performed on the minimum of the 12 individual split tablet portions. Okay, so that is the requirements. So now, what is the criteria? So these are the requirements which is laid down by the guidelines, right? Now, what is the criteria? So you know the typical criteria by dosage form that should be assessed during the pharmaceutical development, means should be present in your PDR of NDAs and ANDAs and during primary oblique exhibit stability batches and scalar batches. So these things you need to be assessed, need to be analyzed, you need to be tested. So first, if your dosage design is immediate release solid oral dosage form, it is a IR tablet, then you need to check uniformity of dosage unit as per either weight variation or by content uniformity depending upon your the content, depending upon your percentage of API. As the common guidance is there, based on that you have to either perform weight variation if your split tablet portion have more than 25% or 25 mg of the drug, or if you have to perform content uniformity if it is less than 25 mg or 25%, right? So first you have to perform uniformity of dosage form either by weight variation or by content uniformity for the split dosage unit. Second criteria for IR dosage form is tablet splittability at both ends of the proposed hardness range should be demonstrated by. What it means by the both end, you provide a hardness range. So for the both end of hardness, means lower hardness and higher hardness range, you have to check loss of mass, you have to check friability. Now, what is the loss of mass? Loss of mass, whenever you will split the tablet, now some powder, some fragments there is a tendency to lose, right? Because the inside portion is not that much intake as the outside portion. So when you are splitting the dosage form now, you have to perform the loss of mass. Loss of mass means you have to just check how much mass is lost. You have to take weight of the intact tablet. You have to split, then take the weight of the splitted portion. Then you have to divide intact tablet weight minus split tablet weight divided by intact tablet weight into 100. So it will be give the percent of the loss occurred. Okay. So testing 15 tablet to ensure a loss of mass of less than 3% between the individual segment, 30 for bisected tablet, 45 for trisected tablet, etc. is recommended when compared to the whole tablet. The resulting data for each tablet should be provided to the agency for the evaluation. So limit is that is 15 tablet to be checked, intact 15 tablet to be checked. So if a bisection is present, a scoring present, then two half means it will become 30 individual portion. If trisection is present, then it will become 45 individual split portions. So you have to check the loss of mass for each tablet. Some people, what they do, they will take 15 tablets and provide the average to the agency. So that is not recommended. what they recommended for each and every tablet, you have to calculate loss of mass, and that loss of mass should be less than 3%. Apart from that, you have to check the fiability of the split portion also, and should be less than 1%. So that is also required. So these two recommendations. Then dissolution data on split tablet portion should meet the finished product release requirement. So which finished product release requirement? That particular strength. If you are splitting 50 mg, 25 mg, so 25 mg FPS data should be dissolution data should be meted by that split portion also. They should comply. The split portion should comply the specification of the content that particular split portion contains. Okay. So these are requirement for the immediate release tablets. Okay. So in detail, uniformity of content, uniformity of dosage unit, loss of mass, fiability, and dissolution specification. It is clearly mentioned, dissolution is critically mentioned here, but earlier also we discussed that it should meet the FPS spec. So we have to analyze our split tablet portion as per our FPS spec of that particular strength. Now for the modified release dosage form. First, modified release dosage form using the matrix technology, where drug release is controlled by any matrix. So for that type of modified release dosage form, all the criteria which is listed above is from 6 to 9, whatever we discussed. So from here means that stability you need to perform right now. Unintended exposure should not be there. Then means whatever we discussed here, that we have to perform that on the both manual and mechanical splitter, right? Then you have to perform uniformity, you have to perform loss of mass, you have to perform fiability, dissolution should be met as per specification. These all criteria should be met, as well as it is already mentioned also. We, for example, in the matrix dosage form, sometimes in some cases, product to product may differ. Dissolution also depend upon the hardness and integrity of the dosage form. So that's why you need to provide the dissolution at both end of the hardness range. Okay, I'm repeating again. You have to provide dissolution at both end of the hardness range, as well as dissolution of the complete tablet versus the split tablet portion should meet the similarity factor F2 criteria. In IR, only specification meeting is required. In case of the modified matrix, the F2 value of the split tablet portion and intact tablet portion is additionally required. You need to do the profiling. Then for modified release doses from which are MUFs. Okay. So in case of the MUFs, modified release doses from matrix, we have discussed modified release doses from MUFs. All the criteria mentioned from the 6 to 10 means this 10 slide criteria also included, that both end of hardness also included, and that F2 part is also included. But F2 part, they have additionally said that dissolution profile on pre-compressed beads means pallet versus post-compressed whole and split tablet portion should meet the similarity factor criteria to ascertain the integrity of the beads during compression. What it means in MUFs, the drug release is controlled by individual unit. Okay, so individual unit controls the drug release. So it should be remains remains integrated. It should be remain means individual. So for that only, first you have to generate profile on the pellet itself, means without compression of the pellets. Then you have to generate the profile of the intact tablet. Then you have to generate the profile of the split tablet portion. And all these profiles should meet the F2 criteria. Then only our splitting requirement can be fulfilled. Okay, so this is the requirement for the MUFS dosage forms. Okay, na? So then scoring configuration of the generic drug product should be the same as the RLD. So this is also a criteria that scoring, whatever scoring we are proposing, whatever that should be in similar to the RLD. If RLD have scored, then we must should have the score, right? Whenever that scoring configuration protected by patent, right now, or scoring configuration proposed by the abbreviated application that were accepted through the suitability petition process. Some patent issues there in that scoring part. Then you can directly contact with the OGD. They will propose you the way out when any patent issue is there. But you should remember one point: if RLD has scoring, whether it is patent protected, you should must have the scoring similar to the RLD. If that patent is any issue, you can communicate with the OGD. They will provide the way forward. Okay. After that, an evaluation of the tablet splittability should be provided during the post-approval period for any product changes at level 2 and level 3 as defined in the agency scale up and post approval SUPEC guidance. If you are changing your formulation as per level 2 or level 3, if that much change happen after approval, then again you have to evaluate the tablet palatability as per the criteria we discussed so far. This is the important part actually. See, this guidance clearly recommended the nomenclature and product labeling. What they say that new product that meet the above reference criteria, if you are following this guidance, then you label your product can be labeled as having functional scoring. So instead of using the scored word, instead of using the breakline word, if you are complying these criteria, use functional scoring word. It is recommended by agency. And nowadays they started to giving theory also. So your labeling, your description part should have this word functional scoring. Okay. For currently market product, manufacturer have the option to perform such an assessment and provide data for evaluation to the product application which are already marketed. They also can do this evaluation. Product labeling should be updated to state that it is a functional scoring. What FDA said, you mentioned functional scoring. So why they mention functional scoring? So that the healthcare person, your labeling itself can communicate with the healthcare provider that the product has been evaluated against the established criteria. Means health by seeing the word functional scoring, healthcare person confidently can say that this tablet can be treated and you can take the equal half of the tablet if dosing regimen required. So for that, word functional scoring should be presented in the labeling part. For using that functional scoring word in the labeling part, you should meet the all criteria which are mentioned in this guideline which we discussed. Hope it is clear. If any question, please ask. Hello.
Sir, I have a question. Sir, for modified release dosage form, means for modified release tablets, we cannot go for functional scoring if the release is controlled by coating only, right? But if we are incorporating some sort of polymers inside the granulation part, then we can.
We discussed two type of modified release dosage form. First is by matrix technology. Second is by MUPS. MUPS means your each individual unit, your pallet is controlling the drug release. So if it is a matrix, then you can provide the scoring. If already have scoring, you can go with the scoring unless until it will not compromise the drug release, right? So if you have what you said that in four form means you are telling me about the matrix dosage form. So yes, in case of matrix dosage form, go easily for the scoring if already have, but you need to provide the dissolution data as per other criteria mentioned in the guidance at the both end of the hardness.
Sir, and one more doubt I do have. What is the both end of hardness?
In your specification, you recommend some hardness range during the compression, right? That hardness range is justified
Yes,
by
yes.
doing that hardness range you justify by doing the hardness test, right? By the challenging the hardness, you see you how you justify during your scale exit batch scale up batch to do a hardness challenge. You take the low hardness
Yes,
tablet, you analyze those
yes.
tablet based on your specification, right? So by that only you would justify. So in this case, what you have to do, you have to collect your low hardness tablet. You have to quote them if quoting is available on the final dosage form. Then you have to assess for the guideline criteria like we discussed, like uniformity, like loss of mass, like friability, like dissolution requirement. Like you have to analyze those split tablet portion, low hardness split tablet portion, high hardness split tablet portion for as per your specification and as per guideline requirement. If they met the criteria, then only you can claim that you are having a functional scoring.
And sir, for and you told that for modified release, that matrix based and for MUPS. So for the matrix based, we generally don't prefer to go with functional scoring because the tablet may get exposed to the media and the release may be distorted, right?
Yeah, so we generally not prefer, I will not say like that. What I'm saying that, see, first criteria is if your reference product have the scoring, then you should must have a scoring, right? Why you should must have the scoring? We discussed in the guidance that first it is that patient can easily interchange between the RLD and your generic product, and no one have advantage of different description, different labeling in the marketplace also. So for these to meet these two reasons, you should also have scoring if your RLD have scoring. If the RLD is also matters, he is giving score, then you also should be able to give the score. Concern is that if your matrix is weak, then after splitting, your dosage form may provide an unintentional exposure to the drug to the patient. To avoid that, these all criteria are laid down. If you are fulfilling the criteria, then you can easily go. If your matrix is very strong, your drug is controlled by swelling of your polymer only. Your polymer is that much concentration that it can withhold the drug release in the splitted form also, and it can release in the similar manner as released by the intact doses form, then yes, you can offshore go with the scoring. And if you're RLD have scoring, RLD meeting the criteria, then you have no other option. You have to make the score and you have to meet the criteria.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Any other question? So I understand today is Sunday, and actually this time frame is not comfortable. I understand it's morning time. So from next time, if you have any issue, because some people some mismatch happen, so no issue. So you can communicate in the group that we can delay 1 hour. Because why I kept in the morning, because it is a fresh session, and in Sunday everybody have work. If we spend 1 2 hour in morning, then it will be roll in our mind for whole day. So whenever we get time till sleeping, we can review that. We can go through that. For that only, I kept in the morning. So if you have any issue, you can communicate in the group. This session we will keep on for next Sunday also. If any issue, I will update you. So what my target is, within 6 months we can make some learning platform. Learning platform means we can make some content, we can make some good discussion, so that matter that creates, it will be helpful for our juniors, our all person in the pharma, which can want to refer with a more interactive guidance, which can easily go to that, and they can refer from there anytime, anywhere when they require. So that type of platform I want to create, and we'll create it together. So thank you for joining. If any question, Jason, you want to ask anything?
No, no, Vikramji, not time being.
Yeah, sure, no issue. No
Yeah,
issue. So if any
yeah.
issue, if you
No,
also
one
any
more,
issue,
one thing, Vikramji, I have one question. So, if innovator is given the scoring on the tablet, is it mandatory that we have to go scoring, or we can give any justification and we can skip that scoring?
for USFDA filing, for Miss ANDA
We,
filing, if already have a scoring, you should must have
we
scoring,
have to
right?
go, no? Okay, right.
That we have to scoring for Miss if
And we
already have
are,
scoring, you in US it is compulsory.
it is compulsory. Okay.
In Europe, you can justify based on that that score is functional or not, right? Sometimes it is
Yes.
just we see those form, it is just a single line. But if it is in that single line also in US, then also you have to go for the functional scoring.
Okay, okay.
Yes, it is mandatory. If you already have scoring, you should have the score tablet. The reason, see, why we discuss in the guidelines, that why this guidance required. The reason they are clearly means defined. That first reason is that why you are making generic product. You are making generic product so that patient can easily interchange with the RLD, and he may get additional cost benefit. That's why you are making a generic drug product. Okay. So if
Yes.
and you don't have scoring, then patient will be compromised. That compromise agency don't want. They want generic should be equivalent as that of the RLD only. So that's why scoring is needed, and it should must present on the generic drug product or NDA filing.
Okay, okay, okay.
So we can
Sir,
conclude.
sir, actually, I have one more question. Like, if we are intended to make a bisected tablet, right, for 20, for 50 mg only. So, is there any need for FP release specification for 25 mg? We will have to make na,
You have to mix. See,
since
first
we will have to
thing,
break the tablets into two.
right, means if you remember, go by slide, then first slide says that the scoring should be present only when there will be a minimum therapeutic dose. Okay, if 12.5 mg or you say 25 mg, if you are splitting 50 mg and 25 mg, you are the split tablet portion. So 25 mg should be able to show the therapeutic action. Then only you can split the tablet. You can provide a scoring. That is the first foremost requirement. So in this case, if this case is given, then
Yes.
as your question, for this case, if for example RLD have a scoring, generally it should not be, but for a specific case, if RLD have a score line and after
Okay.
splitting that tablet portion, the content changes after splitting in the split doses form, that is below the minimum therapeutic dose, then you can avoid that scoring by justifying that only for
Okay.
that dosing. Okay, now so that
Okay.
is the
Okay.
one
Okay.
point. Yeah, but if it is scoring is available and the scored tablet portion have the minimum therapeutic doses unit, then you must analyze that minimum therapeutic doses unit as per the finished product specification of that minimum dose strength. So it is
Okay.
IR, you have to analyze for as a
Got
Q
it.
point. If it is modified and must, then you have to show the profiling also. You have to, it is clearly mentioned. You have to match up to also, right?
Okay. Okay. Right.
Anything? Quasi, you are okay. Just a minute. Because chat option. Yeah, you say you can place your question in the chat box if this is not working. Hello. I'm able to see only if already having scoring means already having scoring means already have a it is functions. Okay. See, what you are asking, parallelly having scoring means it is function. Is how it is functional, right? Understood. So, means whether how to know that RLD scoring is functional or not, right? See, in some RLD in US also they have a mere break line, just a break line or scoring for namesake, and you cannot split that tablet portion in the equal halves. There may be cases like that only. Then how to know whether that backline is functional or not. So guidelines clear says that if R&D has scoring, you need to give a scoring. Okay. If you need to give a scoring, you need to meet the criteria. Right? You need to meet the criteria, then your scoring should be functional. So guidelines clearly say so. If R&D scoring is not functional, also in case of the US, then also you go with the this approach. Okay. First thing is that how to know the RLD scoring is functional or not, you should go to the dosage and administration section of the label. You should check whether after splitting the RLD dosage unit, that split tablet portion means that split tablet portion is therapeutically means it can able to produce a therapeutic effect or not. It can above the therapeutic dosage unit or not. If it is above the therapeutic dosage unit, then you don't think anything. You put a functional baseline in your generic drug product. If in case it is below the minimum therapeutic dose, then you have a flexibility. You can consider that baseline as a non-functional. Okay, because based on the guideline only. But if it is if it have a just for namesake, a baseline is there in the RLD, and in that split portion is above the minimum therapeutic dose, then you have no option. You consider that baseline as a functional and develop a functional break line for NDA filing. Hope I answered. Okay. Check okay or not? Great. Yeah, it is clearly mentioned. This guidance came in 2013, right? But it is clearly mentioned if for not for RLD, for generic product also that are approved before 2013, right? For them also they can assess as per this criteria, right? And they can claim the functional scoring work in their in their guidance. Okay. Then the guidance is not guidance came in the 2013 R&D were available before 2013, but somewhere the break line is given only for the scoring, only for the splittability only. There is no other benefit of the break line. Right? The benefit of the break line is only for splitting portion only, for splittability only, right? Because a break line, if you take a normal dosage form and a break and a score tablet have a low hardness region in the part of the scoring. So during coating, and it may produce the processing problems, right? So when we give the scoring, we have an additional advantage of this splitting. Then only we give the scoring. Okay. So in earlier 2013 also this scoring is present. Because of what happens, some general product are giving scoring, some general product are not giving scoring based on their comfort level. That's why only the that's why only the industry that agency feels that some criteria will be required to fix this issue. That's why this thing is came on. Okay, so this thing came on to harmonize these things. Earlier, whatever happened, it happened. But now this thing is in the picture. So if R&D have scoring earlier, R&D approved before 2013, then you should go with the scoring only. You cannot claim that that scoring is non-functional. You can claim only that scoring non-functional if if that individual dose strength is below the minimum therapeutic dose. Then only you can claim. Otherwise, if R&D have scoring, you should give the scoring. Yeah, as we discussed, you have to check on the both end of the hardness. On your scale of batches, you can establish data of the both end of the hardness. You have to sufficiently compress the low hardness and high hardness tablet. Why coating is required? Because you are testing on the finished dosage form. If you can generate data in the worst case without coating, that also acceptable. But better to generate data on the final tablet, final dosage form. If it is coated, then on coated only. Anything else? Okay, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone for joining this session. We will make it as live as possible, and we will discuss most whatever the important topic, and soon we will come with the ICH course also. We'll complete all ICH module within 6 month time frame. We should be able to generate this good matter. So all of your contribution is required, and thank you everyone for joining and giving your time.
Yeah, thank you, Vikram. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
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 Everyone wait, bro. Everyone wait, sir. You see here.